Hello everyone, my name is Eva, and today with my group we would like to draw your attention to this Apple ad banner positioned on a huge building in Las Vegas City. In truth, Apple took out a CES advertisement to troll its competitors over privacy. To begin with, we would like to introduce you to Apple Company and then we will come back to the analysis of this ad. Apple is a spirit, an ideology and a way of life. No other computer company has been able to create such a cohesive and integral user subculture. The epithet Mac user is in principle irrelevant to both hardware and software. It is a way of thinking and a system of values which you have to understand and feel. It is the Macintosh way. The author of this definition is the psychologist Guy Kawasaki, a former Apple employee and the most famous Mac evangelist. The Macintosh Way was the title of his book, published in the US in 1989 and subsequently a worldwide bestseller. Macintosh Way, the art of doing right thing the right way, the philosophy of Apple and its users. To work with pleasure, to think differently, it's all about creativity and thinking outside the box, the desire and ability to change the world for the better. Apple Incorporated is one of the leaders in the global IT industry, manufacturer of computers, laptops, media players, and various software. Apple is one of the industry pioneers, pioneering in many areas. The first truly personal computers, the first multicolor displays on a PC, the first computers with mouse support, the first online music store. The list of innovations of Apple Corporation could go on and on. The release of new iPhones is a real boom. Customers are in line in front of branded stores for several days. The history of Apple began in a garage, like many other American startups. Its founders are two friends, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. The friends began assembling computers and selling them. After selling a few dozen of them, they formalized their business by creating Apple Computer Incorporated. This occurred on April 1, 1976. Over time, a third member of the future computer revolution joined their company, Ron Wayne, the author of the first logo of Apple. The first computer released by the company was the Apple I, but the first mass-produced personal computer was the Apple II. 1980 in the history of Apple was marked by the failure of the Apple III project, but in the same year the company held one of the largest initial public offerings in history. In 1984, Apple first introduced the new 32-bit Macintosh computer. It was a real breakthrough in the history of the company's development. It was thanks to the Macintosh that the company was mostly profitable later on. In these days, Apple is one of the leaders in the IT industry. In August 2011, the company was recognized as the most expensive in the world in terms of market capitalization. It was then that Steve Jobs announced his resignation as CEO, handing over the reins to Tim Cook as chairman of the board. Back in 2003, Jobs was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. In spite of this, he spent most of his days at work and left his post shortly before his death on October 2011. For the next 2 weeks, Apple's main website displayed a black and white photo of its founder and the dates of his life. When you clicked on the photo, an obituary would appear. Several years in a row from 2014 to 2016, Apple released new projects such as Apple Watch, which becomes the most popular smartwatch, Apple Pay, a payment system that allows you to forget about the physical existence of credit card, and the first AirPods. Apple tops Forbes' annual look at the world's most valuable brands for the 9th straight time. The brand of the tech giant is worth $205.5 billion, up to 12% over last year. It is the first time a brand crossed the 200 billion threshold. Some of the latest innovations are the second generation iPhone SE, powered by the A13 Bionic processor, the new MacBook Air, which is twice as fast, has a Magic Keyboard and twice the memory, an updated MacBook Pro with a 13-inch screen, Magic Keyboard, and a weight of just 1.4 pounds. Apple has gone to great lengths to understand its target customers, how they think and talk, their language and habits, preferences, dislikes, and more. Apple knows how to talk to customers in their language. Strong bonds with potential and loyal customers are built on this understanding. Apple's commercials feature happy people enjoying the simplicity of their iPads, and the consistent demonstration of positive emotion is driving sales. The brand is not selling extra hours of battery life or gigabytes of memory. It's selling a state of happiness and satisfaction caused by a simplified lifestyle, the result of using Apple products. Not surprisingly, Apple's marketing strategy brings the company revenue and popularity around the world. Now let's go back to a Las Vegas banner ad, which my colleagues will analyze in detail.
I will now describe this advertisement. This ad was photographed by Chris Velasco, who posted it on his social media. The company purchased space on the site of the Spring Hill Suites by Marriott Hotel, which overlooks the Las Vegas Convention Center. Ahead of the Consumer Technology Association, Apple has strategically placed a massive new privacy-focused billboard in Las Vegas. The billboard depicts the rear of an iPhone with the black and white, but mostly black, ad reads "What happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone." Is accompanied by a line drawing of an iPhone XS, and it references Apple's efforts at protecting user privacy. The ad closely resembles the styling of sustainability promos Apple has showcased in other countries. Apple is highlighting its new iPhone XS, which was released during this period. The new iPhone XS has a design visually near identical to the X, but includes upgraded hardware. Featuring the A20 Bionic chip built with a 7nm process, it also features a 5.85-inch OLED display and contains dual 12-megapixel rear cameras and one 7-megapixel front-facing camera. It was also noted by the media that the XS received a smaller battery than that of the X. The billboard also includes a link to Apple's privacy website, which outlines the various ways Apple products are designed to protect your privacy. For instance, on that web page, Apple explains how Face ID and Touch ID data never leaves your device. For example, the data used to identify you for Touch ID and Face ID is converted into mathematical representations that are encrypted and protected by the secure enclave on your device. Where they cannot be accessed by iOS or apps, it isn't stored on Apple servers or backed up to iCloud. The Consumer Technology Association 2019 will undoubtedly see a host of new gadgets where privacy isn't the manufacturer's top concern. This includes all sorts of Alexa and Google Assistant-enabled devices. Apple's privacy focus is starting to become a major selling point of its devices, and as we argued a few months ago, it's about time Apple really started marketing privacy to consumers. In spite of never having a formal presence at the Consumer Technology Association, Apple has always been the invisible elephant in the convention halls with device and accessory makers committing time and resources to building out the Apple ecosystem. In recent times, however, it's been Amazon's Alexa and Google's Assistant that have taken over primacy at the Consumer Technology Association, and Apple is striking back with an expertly judged throw ad. It's a clever and effective ad that plays off the classic Vegas slogan, and it's timely. In an age of regular data breaches, and scary hacks, privacy and security have become a really big deal. Apple has made privacy a major component of its iPhone sales pitch for years, so while the ad might not mention Google, Samsung, or Amazon, it's clearly aimed at trolling Apple's biggest rivals. At this period, we don't know if Apple has further plans to expand its privacy-centric marketing outside of Las Vegas, but it's notable to see Apple try to take advantage of the tech-centric crowd that was in Vegas.
This advertisement represents elements of American culture and history. First of all, this Apple billboard was located in Las Vegas, a city that contributes to the culture of America by its fame. This one is world famous for being the best city for partying. Also, the slogan "What happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone" is alluding to the Nevada city's popular tourism slogan "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas," a symbol in the United States. By doing this ad, Apple tackles its direct competitors in the market by adopting a rather daring marketing strategy. With the arrival of new smartphone brands, Apple must have a compelling marketing approach. For some time now, it has been based on privacy. As we can see on these various advertising posters that promote privacy with several terms like "privacy matters," also "privacy is king," which underlines the fact that if privacy matters in your life, it should also matter to the phone your life is on. With this ad, Apple mocks its Android rivals. Indeed, this ad plays on the fear that the operating system operated by Google will disclose the personal data of users to governments or hackers. Conversely, Apple presents itself as a manufacturer of phones that respects the privacy of its customers. For example, Apple's focus on privacy is nothing new. The company has long said that it doesn't make money from its user personal information, but from selling people hardware and software. That privacy priority came into clear focus when in 2015, Apple refused to assist the FBI in unlocking an iPhone that belonged to a suspected terrorist of the shooting attack in San Bernardino. Or also when Facebook was in the spotlight during the Cambridge Analytica data scandal in 2018. Moreover, Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, doesn't hesitate to say it: "We're not going to traffic in your privacy. For us, privacy is a human right. It is a civil freedom." He also called for digital privacy laws in the United States. On the other hand, there may be a little bit of irony. They chose to display the ad on the Marriott Hotel, but back then, the hotel was recently the victim of a massive data leak. The hotel chain announced that it had been hit by a major computer hacking and said that the hackers had obtained 5 million passport numbers. By the way, by doing this ad, Apple tried to play the card of security, reassuring their customers who are primarily looking for the privacy of their data, but also, perhaps, by attracting possible new customers. Despite that, people still doubt about the privacy of Apple. For example, the App Store itself still hosts apps from Google and Facebook. Moreover, Apple is part of American culture. For several years now, it is a brand that has established itself in America, especially on the sale of phones that dominate the market for a long time now. Every new release of Apple products is an event in America, but also worldwide. To continue in this way, the brand doesn't hesitate to call on major American stars to promote their products, such as Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon, who both lent their voice in 2014 to introduce with humor the two new iPhone 6 models and their apps. But also Stephen Curry in 2015 with the iPhone 6 second. This ad focuses on the eye camera of the phone. In addition to showing us the capabilities of the phone, basketball player Stephen Curry makes a small cameo to boast the merits of the smartphone. But to come back to our main topic, did the ad we are working on boost their sales? This is what Nied is gonna to explain us.
The question we can ask ourselves after the explanations given in the previous parts is, did this advertising poster really had an impact on the customers, or if it was really relevant? We will be studying this topic in this section. Following this advertising poster, comes out in 2019 the most sold and best known device in the range of Apple. In other words, the iPhone with the release of the brand new iPhone 11. Nationally, it was a great success as well as internationally. Indeed, during this period, it reached a record number of sales, unlike its competitors, and came in first place in the United States. Moreover, the iPhone 11 has been sold to more than 37 million units worldwide. So it remained the best-selling smartphone in the United States, but also in the world. In 2019, 69% of iPhone 11 and 11 Plus models were sold in the United States. Nonetheless, this no longer surprises us. We all have this image of the iPhone as a sign of power, wealth, trendiness, and a very popular fashion product. There is this idea that the product is cool, and it is spread throughout the years, especially among the most famous celebrities and influencers in the world. If you come out and observe the people walking in the vicinity, we always see by their hand an iPhone. Every year, Apple shows innovation through its products, but also its advertisements to attract as much people as they can, and it is a success since their smartphone is constantly in the first place in terms of sales. If we look at the different operators in the United States, such as AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon, one of the most famous operators, the best-selling smartphone is the iPhone. As a matter of fact, there is a loyal customer base that waits for the release of Apple products every year. However, the iPhone 11 released in 2019 is not the biggest success of the Apple brand compared to other iPhones. We can see that in 2018, the Apple brand sold 46 million iPhone X, which shows a significant margin of difference of 9 million compared to the iPhone X. Not to mention the undisputed sales record of all iPhone models that remain in 2014. In fact, the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus is and will remain the best-selling iPhone in the history of the Apple brand with more than 220 million sales worldwide. Despite the rather low sales of the iPhone 11 model, Apple still sold in 2019 193 million iPhones in the United States, but this remains low compared to 2018 with 217 million sales. This poster did not bring an evolution in the sales of iPhone's models, but we can ask ourselves if this is a consequence to a potential lack of confidence from customers toward the brand and especially their confidentiality policies. Still, this poster responds to the trend that recently made a lot of talk and that accuses several competitors of Apple or other companies. So, this poster wants to show a different image to its buyers. That is to say, they want to put customers in confidence to ensure that loyal customers continue to buy their products. But was it really efficient? What we are finding is that we have come in a period where people are asking more and more questions about the use of their data and are much more concerned about them than when the first smartphones appeared. There is also much more choice concerning technological devices compared to the last decades, and this brings more competition for Apple, especially with the South Korean brand that is Samsung. Finally, this poster was not very helpful to the brand's profit or benefits, but this does not make the Apple brand a declining one. On the contrary, as we have seen, Apple remains a brand that is highly appreciated by American inhabitants as well as celebrities. The company maintains a very fashionable image that adapts each year to technological developments, so it is not ready to go bankrupt.